Thank you for joining us on 13 News Now at 4. I'm Janet Roach.
And I'm Arrianee LeBeau. Regina Mobley has the night off.
A family wants answers after a 13-year-old Virginia Beach boy was attacked by a police dog, then held at gunpoint by an officer.
Yeah, we want to warn you, some of these images in this story may be disturbing. Now, the incident happened Sunday on Claiborne Place. That's off of North Great Neck Road. That's where 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd is live.
And Robert, you spoke with a neighbor who saw the whole thing.
Actually, I'm standing on the neighbor's front steps right here. This is where the 13-year-old was hanging out Sunday night. He has friends who live here. He was playing video games with them until 8 o'clock at night. That's when it was time to go home. So he walked down these steps and just walked a few feet. Again, according to the witnesses in this case, only walked a few feet right to about here from the front porch. And that's when they say the police dog attacked him. And then moments later, a police officer was pointing a gun at him and his little brother. And once again, as you said, some of the pictures you're about to see are graphic. Now, police were originally called to this neighborhood regarding a break-in at a nearby home. They were looking for a man in a hooded sweatshirt, and it just so happens the 13-year-old in this case was also wearing a hooded sweatshirt. Police unleashed the canine on him without any warning, according to witnesses. They say the German Shepherd attacked the boy for about 45 seconds, biting his leg in 4 different spots, according to Stephen Keck, who lives here at this house where it happened. Now, that's when the boy's 9-year-old brother also got involved. He lives right across the street. He was also held up at gunpoint. Now, Keck said he was pleading with the police officer that the boys were innocent, but the officer held them at gunpoint for at least 2 minutes before determining over his walkie-talkie that they were not the suspects.
It was traumatic for both him and his 9-year-old brother and again for us too, to see him. I can't get that vision out of my head of him like literally on his knees with a gun, pointed at him, and the dog barking, ferociously within, 3 feet of him. After just coming out of my house, he was like looking at the police officer like saying, he bit me, he got me, and the police officer just left.
Now, the boy's family in this story has decided not to speak with us on camera. That's what their attorney advised them. There could be legal action against the Virginia Beach Police Department. But the boy's father did say, first of all, his son is going to make a full recovery. Very good news here. And he said what he's most upset about is that canine officer left the scene before the father even got to his son. He left in less than a minute. And the father would like to know why. Why didn't the officer stick around and explain to the family what had happened to his son? Now, Virginia Beach Police did acknowledge that they are investigating this situation. And they also said that they are under the impression that the little boy tried to run away. We'll have much more on that coming up at 5 o'clock. Live in Virginia Beach, Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
All right, Robert, thank you. Well, we're tracking a chance for wet weather this evening. A look at the radar shows some of the rain that's moved into the area. Evan Stewart has a look at our shower chances for the rest of the night.
Well, over the next couple of hours, we will see a little bit of a better chance as all this light rain is working its way off towards the east. Not all of this is even reaching the ground. Earlier, we were showing some radar returns here through parts of Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Virginia Beach. They weren't reaching the ground. I was out earlier and didn't see any showers. But now that we're seeing some of the darker greens in here, we are looking at a few sprinkles and a few light showers working their way off towards the east-southeast as a weak system passes by. Checking out the peninsula right now, you can see up around Williamsburg through James City County and York County, mainly just some light rain from Warren Mill down towards Magruder, Grove, Williamsburg, and around Busch Gardens. As you cross over the James River, you can see a few sprinkles there as well. Temperatures under the cloudy skies in the 40s to around 50 degrees. You can see it's 50 in Williamsburg right now. 44, though, a little bit cooler near the water in Norfolk. 43 in Virginia Beach, 50 in Edenton, and 45 up along the eastern shore. Now, over the next several hours, again, we'll see those chances for rain showers through about 5, 6 o'clock. Notice still looking at mostly cloudy skies by 7 p.m., 47 degrees. Temperatures dropping into the low 40s later tonight, but a big warm-up is set to roll in starting tomorrow. We've got readings in the 60s and 70s and maybe even close to 80 degrees coming up in the next 7 days, and I'll have that full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Evan. Well, new information about a deadly police shooting in Norfolk. Prosecutors say officers were justified when they shot a man in Ocean View last July. Police got a call about a man with a weapon on 14th Bay Street. The man, identified as Tyson Williams, had locked himself in an apartment. When he came out, he shot an officer in the chest. Officers fired back, killing Williams. The officer who was shot was okay thanks to his bulletproof vest. The officers who shot Williams are now cleared of any wrongdoing. And the man accused of threatening to kill a local congressman faced a judge this afternoon. Wallace Godwin is charged with threatening to murder and assault Congressman Scott Taylor. Investigators arrested Godwin last week after they say he made threats to the workers at Taylor's office. They say Godwin indicated he planned to bring a gun to one of Taylor's events in order to handle some sort of disagreement with the Republican lawmaker. 13 News Now reporter Chanu Her was at the Norfolk Federal Court hearing. We'll have an update coming up at 5.
The city of Virginia Beach wants to bring big changes to Norfolk International Airport. For the third time, they are trying to start the process of building another runway. They argue it is a vital concern to Hampton Roads, but the Navy has concerns a runway will impact the training of the special warfare community and the placement of its ships. 13 News Now spoke with Virginia Beach City Manager Dave Hansen about what an additional runway could mean for travelers.
As it is now, it costs you about an extra $300 to fly anywhere so that you can fly to somewhere else. So making Norfolk a larger destination airport for well over 1.7 million people that are here in Hampton Roads is pretty important.
The city and the Navy want a joint land use study to examine the impact of having a parallel runway. To do that, they want to pursue funding from the Pentagon.
Well, today, cargo truck drivers protested against lost wages at the Port of Virginia. Drivers say it can take up to 5 hours to pick up their cargo, and they are not paid for that time. 13 News Now reporter Elise Brown spoke to some of the protesters about the changes they want.
Truck drivers sounding off.
We are here to protest about excessive wait times in the Port of Virginia facilities.
George Berry is the founder of For Truckers by Truckers, an advocacy group. Drivers tell 13 News Now they can wait anywhere from 2 to 5 hours per trip. The port says ideally it should take drivers around 45 minutes. Part of the issue, drivers say, not enough chassis. They say the problems are cutting into drive time and their wallets.
If I had made 3 trips in and out, that's $75 each way. Sitting here all day for one box cuts out all the other trips.
The drivers took their concerns to the port's board meeting. CEO John Reinhardt says the board recognizes there is a congestion issue. To help, Reinhardt says they've implemented truck reservation times at Norfolk International terminals. He says they plan on rolling that out at Virginia International Gateway by this summer.
We're listening to their specific ideas, and we'll continue to act on the things that we can do to make it more efficient here.
He says they are ordering 800 new chassis, but in the meantime, he says they are hiring additional staff. Employees have been instructed to speak with drivers who have waited more than 2 hours. He says they've also extended the hours during the week from 12 to 21.
We want it to be so that truckers want to come here.
Truck drivers say they are going to continue to monitor wait times and see if what the port says it's doing will make a difference.
So the length of time that it's taking, it's not fair to us, and it's unreasonable.
In Portsmouth, Elise Brown, 13 News Now.
Progress is being made in the war against ISIS. That word today from a top American general who said the air campaign in Iraq has been extremely successful. 13 News Now reporter Mike Gooding has the details.
The U.S.-led air war against ISIS in Iraq is going very well. That word today from Operation Inherent Resolve Deputy Commander of Air Combined Joint Forces Land Component Command, Brigadier General Andrew Croft. Via an internet link, he told reporters at the Pentagon the campaign is working.
Coalition air power in support of the Iraqi security forces has been extremely successful in the destruction of ISIS in Iraq.
Simultaneously, Croft said about 450 coalition forces have been training the Iraqi Air Force, to the point that by the middle of this summer, he said, 20 to 25 Iraq pilots will be fully qualified to lead their own F-16 combat squadron. The effort is being called the Iraqi Aviation Enterprise.
This strategy has been wildly successful, enabling the Iraqi security forces to reclaim their territory from a barbaric enemy while allowing the coalition to minimize its footprint in Iraq.
In other words, getting the Iraqi military to stand up so that coalition military forces may someday stand down.
It is now our job to enhance these capabilities within the Iraqi aviation enterprise, and we will do this through our Train, Advise, and Assist mission. The formation of this training effort is a crucial step as we continue to assist the Iraqis in consolidating their gains after years of tough combat.
Mike Gooding, 13 News Now.
The Newport News School Board is expected to vote on a plan to move Huntington Middle School students so the city can replace the building. Now, the plan is for current Huntington 6th and 7th graders and their teachers to their own wing at Heritage High School. Rising 6th graders will go to Crittenden and Hines Middle Schools instead. Now, the vote is tonight at the school board meeting that starts at 6:30. It'll be at the administrative building on Warwick Boulevard.
Tonight, Norfolk City Council will vote on a resolution opposing a proposed trash facility. 13 News Now told you last week about plans to put a solid waste facility in the Bruce's Park neighborhood off St. Julian Avenue. City council members say the owner of the property didn't tell Norfolk leaders about the project and went straight to the Department of Environmental Quality. They say it will bring too much traffic and pollution to the neighborhood.